and welcome back to the Graceful Tangle YouTube channel. I am so excited you're here today. It is finally time to share a highly requested video, and that is an updated yarn room tour. I have spent so much time over the past few months reorganizing this room, making it to where it works well for both school, for business work, but then also just enjoying and relaxing and knitting and crocheting as much as I possibly can, because let's be real, that's my life right now. So a couple of little things to get out of the way before we hop into today's tour, and that is, first and foremost, this is my bedroom. So you will see my bed, a few random, bedroom things, so please expect that, or just respect, I guess, that privacy hopping into this video. I'm so excited to share all of this with you, but it is a multi-purpose room, so keep that in mind. Also, if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that. I am so grateful for this growing community, and I want to have you join us, so be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell right by the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of future videos. I have so many things planned, and I want you to be able to participate in them. So, with all of that out of the way, I think it is finally time to hop into today's video. I hope you enjoy the tour, and then at the end, after you finish it, please let me know how you organize your yarn, your notions. I want to hear it, so let me know in the comments below. Enjoy! Okay, so when you folks walk into my room, I am currently standing in the doorway, and this is what you see. So we'll just do a quick panorama. Of course, that's the window, so excuse the crazy lighting that's going to occur every time I pass it, but it really can't be helped, and it lets in a lot of natural light. So over here, this is my filming area, so love this chair. I've wanted a, quote, fancy chair like this for so long, and so I'm so grateful to finally have one, and it is so cozy. It also doesn't have arms, which is a really important feature, not one that I guess I expected to really want, but I love sitting crisscross applesauce, and this chair lets me do just that. So, really cool little feature. And then over here we have my whip basket. So this bottom one holds some samples, some extra project bags, and then bigger works in progress. This one up at the top holds all of the things that I'm currently working on. So there is some... Let's just go a little bit closer here. There's my current works in progress, some yarn that I'm going to use very soon, just little things like that. And then, of course, we have a few little pieces of art here. Yeah, nothing major. Obviously, I don't really use that calendar very much. It's really awesome, but I just use my paper one a little bit more. And then I have this wall hanging that I made. This might be, like, my favorite thing in my entire room. I love this piece so much. I had so much fun doing it. It has a lot of great memories. And it just goes with the color palette and theme of my room so well. And then my mannequin, Mavis, she wears lots of different things, but she's currently wearing my most recent garment design, the Trusty Tunisian tee. So at the time of this video, that is currently in testing, so stay tuned for that pattern. But yeah, I love that sample so much. I can't wait for that pattern to be released. And then moving right along, we have my desk area. This is one of my favorite spots. This desk is absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful for it. It's just incredible. It's huge. It's exactly what I needed. Yeah, it's amazing. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then my loft bed, which if you are in a room that you want to have as much space as possible, I couldn't recommend a loft bed more. It takes up so little space. The bed is obviously up at the top, so, that is not wasted space. It's amazing. It opened up so much room. Then I have this little, shelf here. This holds mostly sock yarn, some pattern and stitch pattern books, notebooks for designing and the like, and then some personal books as well, and then of course some more stitch pattern books. Yeah, and then this basket right here, this has all of my school books in it. It's really nice for it to just be out of the way. Kind of a way of separating it just a little bit, to have all my school books in that spot when I'm not using them. Just a way of shutting down for the day. And then my spinning wheel. So again, we'll come back to that space in just a minute. And then continuing to complete the panorama, here are all of my yarn shelves. So we are going to spend quite a bit of time talking about these, but basically I will link to them down below. They are, most of them are from Walmart. Technically, they came from two different places, two different stores, but yeah, they're basically all of the same thing. They were actually originally made for shoes, but they work so well for yarn, so I really recommend them. Each individual, like, little cubby here is one shelf. So I have 3 stacked on top of each other. They're made to stack. You know, you could do more stacks, you could do less. For the height of my, ceiling, this works well. So I have 3 stacked on top, totaling 9 shelves. And then each of these overflow bins is just that, an overflow bin. So this is mostly bulky weight that just doesn't fit on the shelf yet. This is worsted and bulky scraps with the blankets. So obviously that is practically exploding. This is some yarn that I'm using for a garment design soon. And then this is all fingering weight scraps. And then the last couple places have my bulletin board. These little cubbies hold mostly desk things, so there's some like electronic cables and things like that. And then this is extra pens, notepads, little things that are desk and note related, I suppose. And then this little 3-tiered organizer is amazing. Holds all of my notions, yarn ball winder, phone charger that obviously I use daily, notions pouch, and then this is mostly knitting needles, and this is knitting cables and crochet hooks. And then up at the top, those 2 little shelves, that's thread, and these are some special little statues and things like that were my great-grandmother's. And then, of course, my closet. So that is the panorama of the entire room. Now let's go back and focus on each little space just a little bit further. Okay, so this is my desk area. I spend so much time in this area. So much time constantly working, whether it's pattern writing, video prepping, media content prepping, doing school, any of it is done at this desk. So I moved my chair out of the way to give me a little bit more room. So basically, here is my desk. I have like notions in this basket. These 2 little trays are so handy. I highly recommend having little bitty just trinkets like this on your desk to kind of house those little random, miscellaneous things. So this one has lots of just knit and crochet related notions, and then this is desk related notions. So like, pennies, a broken ring, bobby pins, like little things like that. It's really handy to, even if it's not like the neatest little section, it's really handy to have a place to just put those things, because otherwise it just gets so cluttered so easily. So, and then obviously my computer here, which you can't see super well, but it's there. It's used so often. And then over to my left, again, that is my 6 cubby shelf. I love that shelf so much. It's really my goal to have all of my yarn on shelves like that eventually, but until then, these shelves work so well as well. And then my spinning wheel, of course, and then some other little desk things. This is my yarn bowl, little teapot, cactus, pincushion. That is a cute little addition, but also very useful. I have a pattern for that in my shops. And then coasters, little things like that. Now, the biggest area of this desk is actually under it. So let me show you that. So like I said, one of my favorite things about this desk is all of the storage that it has underneath. So all of these bins are housing samples and other bigger notions. So I have like pom-pom making tools, things like that. And then also all of my samples that I made for designs. And then over here we have one more yarn overflow bin, and that is all yarn that is the same. It's going to be going into a blanket. I just haven't gotten around to making it yet because a finger knit blanket is a big undertaking. Then in this we have some also bigger knit and crochet notions. Most of this is like empty packages and like stitch markers, little empty containers, things like that I don't use regularly, but it's nice to have on hand. And then this basket, also something that I highly recommend. So this basket is intentionally for taking projects around the house. So if I'm going to go downstairs and watch a movie or, have a conversation with somebody else in another part of the room, put your current whip or something that you want to take with you in that basket, along with like, a ruler, a pair of scissors maybe, little things like that, and just designate it for taking around the house. It is so handy, makes me a lot less likely to leave something somewhere. And again, it's just a nice thing to have. So that is my desk area. Again, one of, if not the places that I'm always in my room. Of course, I'm on the bed a lot too, I guess, but probably I'm in this space more, to be quite frank. Okay, so that is that area. Now, let's talk about the biggest thing, and that is the yarn shelf. So I'm going to go through each one, kind of share how I organize them, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so here is a better view of the yarn shelves and all of their glory. This is my favorite spot of my entire room. Just this background, looking at all of this yarn is so inspiring. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit each shelf and what is on it. So I'm going to move behind the camera actually so that you can better see, I suppose. So this entire shelf is mostly fingering weight yarn. So this cubby here at the bottom, there is definitely some decay, but most of it is fingering. I try to organize it by fingering, worsted, and then bulky. And for the most part, that's how everything is organized. There's a few exceptions here and there, but for the most part, that has worked well for me. All in all, it's my yarn. You know, I know how it's organized. I know what I have. I know what I don't have. But it's really handy to have it like a basic organizing system as well. So like I said, this is mostly fingering weight yarn. Kind of starts up at the top with wool bases. This is a cotton base. This is a cotton base for the most part. And then it moves into wool. Again, all fingering weight. And then, of course, I kind of tried to have it organized as like these kind of donut style balls and then down into the hank style. So I have some Knit Picks Stroll here and then some Hawthorne. I try to organize it by brand, type, you know, kind of where I got it, like just little things like that. And this is mostly hand dyed, so that little section, these two cubbies and those two are mostly hand dyed. And then moving down here, this is mostly DK. And then over here in the middle one, this is all worsted and bulky weight yarns. Up at the top is all cotton. Also try to separate it by type. It doesn't always work. You know, it's not perfectly organized. I'm definitely not claiming that it is, but this is mostly cotton yarns, and it really helps to have them separated. So like I said, mostly cotton worsted weight yarns. This is mostly worsted weight wools. So I have, this is some Knit Picks Love the Andes, Swish, Bleachy. This is a cotton, I think, maybe. Might not be, actually. Looks like viscose, polyester, and nylon. So this is, of course, both of the same. This pink and the teal are the same. So again, they're the same. Try to put them together. And then down on the bottom row here, this is mostly bulky weights. So worsted and bulky. This is all wool for the most part. This is all cotton. And then down here, this is all bulky, again, for the most part. And then moving along to this last shelf, this is a combination, again, of worsted and bulky. Kind of varies between acrylic and wool contents. And then these two shelves, they're both primarily bulky and super bulky yarns, but they're also both labeled as my specialty yarns. So these are yarns that are different from all of the rest. Some of them I would never be able to get again. Some of them I would. So yeah, it just kind of helps to have them separated as well. So like I said, mostly bulky along here, super bulky, and then this bottom shelf is specifically specialty yarns. So that's like bulky, single ply, velvet, fur, scrubby yarns. Some like this yarn is crazy, but obviously it's specialty. This is like a kind of mix between unspun and spun single ply, so it's really fun. So again, it really helps to have it all separated based on what you currently reach for. And of course, you know, yarn organization varies for everybody. For me, this really works. It's the system that I have found that works the best for me, but you might decide to go by, you know, color or only content and not weight, or, you know, anything along the lines. It's all about what works best for you. Okay, and then the last little section of the yarn shelves are, like I mentioned, these overflow bins. So while I wouldn't necessarily choose to have these up there, overall it works really well and gives me space to put primarily scraps. So I'm hoping that one day soon I will have the space to fit this yarn on the shelves. I'm getting there, I'm just not quite there yet. And then once I do, that will be a scrappy overflow as well. Right now, this is worsted, scraps, and bulky. It's like all mixed together. So it's practically exploding. The bin is crazy, crazy full. Not to mention the blankets in there are also growing, so they're taking up more space. And then this one over here is fingering weight scraps. So I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with those. I have not started a fingering weight blanket yet, but I think that's something that I definitely need to do soon. Right now, I am planning some socks with leftovers. I use about 50 grams for a full length of socks, so I have a lot of scraps. And I didn't used to have a lot of fingering weight scraps. I haven't been knitting socks for that long, so hoping to crack into that bin soon and start a blanket, possibly maybe like a sweater. I don't know. Definitely still trying to figure out what to do there, but that's what those bins up at the top are for. Again, might not choose to have them up there. It's also ironic because I put that pom-pom garland up like the day before I got all these bins to put on the top. So kind of crazy how I, obviously hid that pretty quickly. But anyway, really, really like that system. Not 100% ideal, but it still works really well. And then like I mentioned, this is just my bulletin board. So I've taken a few things off just for privacy reasons, of course, but typically it'll have schedules for media content for the month that I'm in, testers for the patterns that I have going, just like financial charts, analytics, things like that. Typical bulletin board stuff that's really handy to have on hand. And then, like I mentioned, that is for desk overflow materials and things like that. Pens, pencils, those types of things. Now, this is where I store all of my notions. So I have lots of things on this little shelf here, and I thought I would just go through it really quickly with you guys. Okay, so like I mentioned at the get-go, this is primarily crochet notions. It definitely varies. There's some things that, didn't fit in the knit one that do fit in the crochet one, so it's a little bit of a combination of the both, but for the most part, it is crochet. I have cases in the back here, so these are Tunisian crochet hook interchangeable set. These are the my favorite set. This is the We Crochet Brights set. It's my favorite. Highly recommend it. I'll link it down below. So I have 2 of those sets. This is my knitting chart keeper notions pouch. These are some interchangeables that don't have a case that works well for them, so I've stored them all in that random case. More crochet hooks, and then this is my case of interchangeable quotes. And then down here, this is my knitting a needle stash stuff, basically. So I have some DPNs, 2 different types. My Chiaogu sock needles. I love these so much. Use them literally constantly. And then I like to have some needles that are really easy to grab. So these short interchangeables get the job done for that purpose. So it's really handy to have those in the front. And then my Knitter's Pride ginger needles. These are all interchangeable sets organized in my binder. And then this pouch here also has my nickel-plated set, which is my favorite. And then the shorties are also in there as well. Then down in this last bin, if I can hold the camera correctly, I have my yarn ball winder, which I use all the time. It's really helpful to have a specific space for that isn't on a piece of furniture I have found. So works really well right there. Charger, and then a spare notions pouch as well. So that is what is on that tier. And then moving along here, not much to see on those 2 shelves. They still really aren't organized exactly how I want them to be. Kind of still trying to figure out what to put on them. But for right now, I just have some thread, yarns, and cake fingering. And then those little, just kind of statues. And that is about it. So we'll do one more panorama. Chair is not where it goes because I moved it to show you guys everything else. But this is the room. I love it so much, and I am so very grateful for it. Hope you enjoyed today's video and the tour of this room. I am so, so grateful for each little inch of it. I'm very, very grateful that it is finally to a point where I can work and be productive and keep it organized and clean. It took me so long to get to this point, and I'm not even sure how much longer I'll be in it, honestly, before I move out. But at least another year at this point, so I'm going to enjoy that time while it is here. Like I said at the beginning, be sure to let me know in the comments below how you organize your yarn. Let me know any future video requests you may have, and of course, be sure to subscribe to my channel, check out all of the links below, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so, so much for watching. Until next time, happy making! Bye.